one of the treasure in this game is Marc-Andre Fleury, and got a chance to cover him the last couple of years. I know we talked before about Flower. Do you have a favorite Flower story you wanted to share here? I don't know if you involved in any pranks or just overall a moment that stood out to you.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, Flower's just like this innocent being, and he's awesome. You guys know this. You guys see him all the time. And I mean, he's one of the greatest. I mean, I Billy and him were probably my two favorite teammates I ever played with. And I remember we were sitting there and we were talking about old video games on the plane once, and I told you guys about my appetite for Mario games, and we were talking about different Mario games. We were talking about different games on like the regular Nintendo system, the regular NES or whatever. And he chimes in, he goes, "Oh yeah, Super Mario Bros." And I'm like, and it just like, it was like a record, like, and all of us stopped and we turned to him and he goes, "Super Mario Bros." And I'm like, "You mean brothers?" And he goes, "Oh, is it brothers?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, whatever." I'm like, wait, hold on a second. I'm like, "You actually thought it was Super Mario Bros?"
Bros?
Yeah, it was always BROS. And I'm like, that was brothers. And he goes, "Oh, I didn't know that." Just like, it rolls on that thing. I'm like, I'm so tripped up by this. Like, he just wants to roll on like, "Oh, not a big deal." I'm like, "No, this is a huge deal. You literally thought it was Bros the whole time." So he was dying laughing about that. We brought it up. I did a podcast the last couple of years and brought it up with him. He was laughing about it, but he's the best, man. Like, he there was that. And then you guys see him in practice and stuff. Like, he'd always mess around doing push-ups, and when we're working on breakaways, doing shootouts at the end of practice, he'd do push-ups or put his glove in front of his face and turn his back and then turn around and bang, make a big save real quick. And he would do it. And I remember saying to him, like, his guys would come down and guys get pissed. Like, guys would come down to shoot on him, and Flower would be dropping down doing push-ups. And then the guy's like, "Screw this." And he'd go to shoot it. And then Flower would jump up and block or save real quick. And he'd run his mouth. And so I said to him, like, "Hey, like, you should do that someday in a game. Like, honestly, like, if you did that, like, you're in the guys' heads. Whatever they're planning on doing coming down here, they're going to scrap that. You're going to be in their head." And I remember he was like, "Oh, yeah. So this was like a little bit later in the season, a couple weeks later, and we're going to a shootout. They're getting the dry scrape. The Zambonis are on the ice. And he came over to the bench to get a water, and he grabs his water and he starts backing away towards the net. And he turns. I remember Craig Adams and I are sitting there, and he goes, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it." And I go, "You're going to do what?" And he goes like this. Like, I go, No. I was just kidding. And I'm like yelling and he's going back. He's like nodding his head like he's doing it. I'm like, "Oh my God, I think he's going to do it." And he didn't end up doing it. I think he was messing with us. I was like, I told him afterwards, I'm like, I mean, if you ever decide to do it, it would be, if you did it, it would be incredible. But if you miss, it's going to be the worst thing ever, dude. Like, and I don't know. So he's never done it. Thank God. I'd be so nervous for him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.